Hello, we're in Granby, Massachusetts at the corners of West Street and Amherst Street, and we're going to point out the four houses at the four corners of it. And the reason why this is part of a tour that starts in the West Street Cemetery and comes up West Street to see these houses. And why are these? These are among the very oldest houses in Granby, and they're also where the original meeting house church was placed in 1769, a year after Granby become official town away from South Hadley. And we're looking behind us, so we're going to start with that house and we're going to sweep around counterclockwise. And remember, the name Smith and the name Moody will pop up over and over again around here. The reason why is because those two families heavily settled into both South Hadley and to Granby. Okay, so we're looking at the first house for us, and this house is number 124 West Street, and it's at the it's 129 West Street. It's at the corner of Amherst and West Streets. And what I want to point out to you is, this is number 124. And what I want to point out to you is that its owners in the very, very beginning were Timothy Smith and Hannah Moody. And so the reason why I'm starting with this house is because the two families I mentioned, two of the members married with each other, and that happened over and over again. And so this house, the very old house, and it still exists, it's still quite beautiful looking. Alright, now we're going to slowly go over from the northeast corner to the northwest corner, and notice that in front of the house we have a stone with a plaque on it, and that plaque tells you that the first Granby Meeting House was located at this corner, and that started in 1769 and lasted there until the mid-1800s. And that was put up by a group from Granby just to tell people a bit about the history of the house. The corner. And that's important because every town in Massachusetts needed a meeting house where people would meet, and also where the different denominations of religions could meet, including the Congregationalists and the Baptists and any others that were around the town. Okay, and you notice the house just beyond it, and it's a very beautiful house. And notice how many sections it has on it. Okay, that house is the Levi Smith house, and it was not only a house but also a tavern. Notice it has an addition to its western side, and also has a modern addition in the very back, and it has a large barn. You can barely see through the trees out there, but it's still there, and I think that barn itself is extremely old. So again, this whole corner is very old. Now the next house we're going to point to is across the street from it, and this is on the southwest corner, and this house right here is from the year 1764. Now that's 4 years before Granby separated away from South Hadley. So that house, when it was first built, was in land that belonged to South Hadley. Right, we're only about maybe 2/3 of a mile from the border of South Hadley and Granby, and here's a house, probably one of the very, very oldest houses anywhere to be found inside of Granby. Now this is fourth corner here, and we're going to point to it. Right, and what we're looking at is the brick facade house with a wooden addition in the back, and then beyond it is actually a wooden barn too. And it has a nice little pavilion in front. Alright, so this house right here, it faces onto Amherst Street. It's located at 96 Amherst Street. And it belonged to Eli and Hannah Moody. Now this is a very important house because when it was first built, it was the parsonage for that West Parish Church. Remember that Granby separated it away and it needed a parsonage and it needed a church. And on this corner you had both of them, right? And then later it became a home for that family, Eli Moody's family. All right, if we could see beyond it, there's one more house, so a fifth house near the corner that's very important, and that's at 86th Amherst Street, and that belonged to Chester Smith and Sophia Clark. Right? But from this corner we can only see four buildings. So that's quite a bit. And I'm going to have people walk from the cemetery out here because these four families are also buried in that West Street Cemetery. All right, thank you very much for coming on the tour.